1.
Yeah, count down and let me know.
Go.
Hello, welcome to episode number 2 of My New Normal, season 2. Welcome everyone. I'm really excited to have Ray Fernandez.
Thank you.
Head coach and co-owner of CrossFit 1904 in Kearney Mesa. I can't wait to pick your brain, Ray, because I've worked with you now for I interned with you and worked with you for about a year, and I know you during class, but yeah, this will be a great chance to kind of get to know you a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm excited.
And talk about all the awesome stuff that you're doing here.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm excited to share the love and the knowledge, and yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah, awesome. Before we do though, I have some fun coupon codes that I want to share with everyone. The first one is for Highlight. Highlight is a fitness lifestyle brand founded on the core belief that a company can and should live beyond the products they sell. As they build on a foundation of innovation and quality, their energy is equally focused on inspiring the well-being of our community. You can use coupon code NEWNORMAL40 at checkout if you're a new member. Check it out. They're really great workout clothing, athletic clothing. I love the tights there. The other coupon code I have is for RX Smart Gear. You can use code all capitals NHLBRX for 15% off your purchase. So check out those different brands if you want to get some gear, some clothing, some fun stuff. All right, Ray.
Nice.
So thank you so much for being here. So here, I did a little research on Ray. I know Ray here in the gym, but Ray, you are, like I said, the co-owner and head coach here at CrossFit 1904. Yes. You're a black belt in Taekwondo.
I was a black belt
Wow.
in Taekwondo.
No wonder why everyone's afraid to mess with you.
No.
And basketball player, you played basketball as a kid a lot?
More like street ball, middle school, maybe like little leagues, and never for high school, but I loved the sport. I loved basketball. Taekwondo, maybe that's where I got all my speed, my explosiveness. I started when I was like 7.
Wow.
7 years old, and I think I was a black belt by 10.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so
and you've been a CrossFit coach now for?
About 7 years now.
7 years.
Since 2012.
Awesome. Yeah, and you are a CrossFit Level 1 and Level 2 certified trainer. You have certifications in CrossFit Mobility, CrossFit for Kids, and even a seminar staff for CrossFit application for injured and adaptive athletes. And you have your USAW weightlifting 1 certification. You're pretty damn certified. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's been a fun journey, and I think going to those clinics or those seminars, we learn so much. Learn so much about the foundations, about movement, but it is about applying it, experiencing it with the athletes, make those mistakes, steal coaching cues from other coaches, and making it my own. Like that's what really, that's the most I got out of those seminars. So you have to just go out there and do it.
Yeah. What made you choose this path? Like, what got you started on this path that you're on?
Well, I worked at a nursing home in Temecula. I worked for this company for about 8 years. I started as a dishwasher in the kitchen.
Wow.
And that was like my high school time, first job. And it taught me a lot about work ethic. And just working hard, and I went from dishwasher to server. Okay. And then after learning the ropes there, I got to become a line cook. And it just kind of moving up in the kitchen, right?
Wow.
Didn't go as far as chef, and I couldn't see myself becoming a cook. So there was another opportunity for another job in the same company as a maintenance technician.
Oh.
So now I get to learn how to put toilets in and fix HVACs like ACs. And I remember lugging around those stackable washer and dryers. And this is where CrossFit really helped me, with functional movement and fitness. My just strength in general is, I was able to do my job well. I had to move a lot of things. I had to, do things fast. So it did help me there. So I did that for about 8 years, but then I I looked at my coworkers and they were not happy. They were not happy.
Sure.
And again, I didn't see myself kind of going to that route, and didn't see myself doing that job. So fitness or working out was just barely in my, daily routine at that point.
Sure.
And then one of my good friends introduced me to CrossFit through like a Groupon, and I fell in Groupon,
nice.
Groupon, but we fell in love with the methodology, with CrossFit and its community, and that's what kind of started the path of that new strength and conditioning for me, and what I wanted to do, and what I felt like in that industry, and working at a nursing home, it was all about helping people, like being in the people relationship business. And that's where I saw myself doing something with people, trying to help them, whether it's fix their TV or now help them with an air squat. It's obviously the air, I wanted to do the movement part, but that's what started my path onto becoming a coach. Is like, I want to do this full time. I quit. So I had an opportunity to work with a CrossFit gym, and I quit my job. I quit it. I just said, I'm going to go pro.
Yeah.
I said, this is like turning pro, just like quitting what I don't want to do and doing what I love, So that was that, whether I made more or less money, I was like, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to make it work. So that's how it started. And that was back in 2012. Yeah.
And what a great way for you to start by working in a nursing home with senior citizens and seeing what happens to the human body when you don't take care of it.
Yeah. It was definitely, some couldn't help them because there was different cares, different levels. And I wanted to make sure that I wasn't going to be put in one like that, and I can help others move at that age better. That definitely had an impact on kind of what I wanted to do as well. So.
And now here you are 7 years later, running a CrossFit gym and the head coach for our adaptive athlete strength and conditioning program. How did that come about?
Yeah, so Teresa, Dr. T, and a good friend of ours, Deanna, my first experience with adaptive athletes was actually a competition that CrossFit, a gym in the East Coast, was hosting. So I believe our friend Deanna was still in school or just graduated, and we needed like hours or something. So we were able to go and help and volunteer. So it was like the Wounded Warrior. I forget the name already, but that was my first kind of taste of seeing adaptive athletes and what that community was doing already. And that was probably 5 years ago. 5 years ago. And from that point on, that inspired me so much to not just help, our regular average Joe member, able bodies, but to help everyone else, like everyone with mental and physical disabilities, So I, after that, started interning with Teresa. So Teresa had a program, local in San Diego, and she asked me if I wanted to, intern and help and possibly become a coach. And of course, I saw that as an opportunity to learn more and change lives. So I was like, you know what? Let's do it. So we did this program I think I was working with her for 2 years, and we did that. I started understanding how to program for it, and then started going to the different locations. We did all that for that was like intern hours, right? So it was all free, and I loved it. And that's what kind of got that program started. And now just kind of getting the structure back, since it kept growing and growing, and we wanted people to have maybe just a location that is central and everyone can make. And we figured that our gym, this gym would be that HQ or that home for everyone. So,
well, explain how it was about a year ago.
How
has the program grown from a year ago?
Yeah,
speaking of having one home location,
it was.
Let's talk about that.
It was definitely, it was a learning experience. So we had this It was a high intensity program. You can say it was CrossFit, and it was understanding how to be creative with a movement that looks and feels similar to an able-bodied movement. So someone in a wheelchair, if we're going to do burpees, right? So burpees are in the workout. What are we going to do?
Yeah, there's no getting away from burpees.
There's no getting away from burpees. So, there's so many different ways to do a burpee if you have a spinal cord injury, right? You just have to. So what I've learned is to understand the movement first. So if you're pushing, you're horizontally pushing. Now I'm gonna say Keith, who has a spinal cord injury. How can he do burpees, right? So we can have a band, we can do a ball to mimic the up and down. We can get on the floor, because Keith can actually crawl forward, do the push-up, crawl back, come up, and it's either changing reps, the rep scheme to create the same stimulus. But a year ago, that was what we were all learning. We were all learning what do these movements look like. What is equivalent for a wheelchair athlete or someone with a missing hand or a missing limb, so eyesight. Eyesight, yeah. So it's like, what does that look like? And we tracked all of that. So we have it all in these documents. We have each athlete's injury and what they, where they're at, what they can and can't do. So it was 2 years of research. And now just kind of piling all that up and, continuing to learn and grow with the athletes.
And I think that's kind of when I came on, and the classes were hosted at different CrossFit boxes or different gyms that would let us use their space. And I think what you did that has been hugely beneficial for the program is, instead of having the adaptive athletes be kind of just like foster children here and there, you provided a home. Why was that important to you?
I felt like, yes, having that home gym, and not that, those other gyms were great, like hosting, awesome. We got to, experience different locations, and, there's still facilities out there that are providing, adaptive classes. So having our own program, it just made the most sense for us, as far as like growing the program, financially too. It just made more sense. So that's why I like it in one location.
And speaking of financially, how do you grow a program like this financially? What does that look like?
So if someone were, if you're wanting to start any program, one, you have to know why. Like, why do you want to start this program? Do you have the resources? Do you have the staff, and the passion to want to do it? We believe that, the finance part, yes, we have to make money, but it's all about caring too, and the passion. So if you really care about helping people, right, and you love, if we're talking specific, the adaptive community, then do it. And how to do that, go out into your community and intern and go learn as much as you can. Go to different events, talk to different people. I think Teresa was a huge part of, why we have this. I mean, she is why we have this program. And, I'm here to help grow the program. So it's being able to, see these opportunities, go out there, put yourself out there. And this goes for any program, whether you're starting like maybe a kids program or a teens program. If you really want to get into that, go to schools, go to, talk to teachers, and work for free for a little bit and understand what that's going to be like, and then make the structure, kind of know the whys and what it's going to look like, later on. So, now with having the VAS, we have a support there now, and, just growing through, our marketing sources. It's like, it's just been growing slowly, but it's growing. Yeah.
I think that's a really, really good point. The VA, the collaboration that we're doing now with the VA, the grant that we're getting to have more veterans come work out with us as adaptive athletes is amazing.
Yep, it's been great, and I love hearing their stories. Everyone has a different story. And it's great to, just relate, just talk to them, because sometimes they just need someone to talk to as well. And just,
this
let
is
it
true.
out. And, we are that, maybe that stress relief or that community that they have been looking for,
Yeah, I can you talk about that a little bit more? Because I think that's what makes this program very special is not only do you have the financial piece, you have the space now for the athletes to come work out in, but there's this community that has grown. There's this consistency in the athletes that show up.
Yeah. And every community is so unique, right? And I think it comes back down to what we believe in, and that is, if we truly want to change people's lives, that comes with showing that you care, being passionate about something, right? So that will trickle down to the community, and it's now that community, providing that for individuals, that just gives us, that joy, and the finance part, that we don't have to, it should be last, but that will come. And and with the community, man, it's not easy. It's not easy to build something that, people, it's either, I don't know if they expect one thing and someone else is expecting another thing, and everyone is different. Everyone is different in their own way. So having them understand what we are about, there's those few words that we need, and those words, I feel like we're still really trying to find those, whether it's, perseverance, integrity, being humble, after our rebrand, a few years ago, 2 years ago, I feel like we have started over as far as like a new brand and who we are. And it's taking me a long time to just find those words. Like Movement RX is right here. What is it? Commitment to you, to empower you with the knowledge and tools to achieve a lifetime of physical freedom. So that is beautiful, right? And I 100% believe that. And that's why we work so well together. Is just we showcase that to our community. And when they see that we care, that's when they can trust us. So trust is a huge thing too. Yeah. But yeah, the community, it's definitely something hard to build, but when you know what you want, it'll just shine. It'll just be there.
Speaking of shining, and the thing that I see that your community has created is you have some adaptive athletes who have been doing this for a while and kind of know the ropes with it, and then you have some that come on that are new to being injured or new to being in a wheelchair, and by coming to these classes, they find social support. They find their tribe, in a sense. And they learn from each other, and there's this sort of mentoring that happens, and this moving on with the new normal.
So it starts from the top. If we were just like, hey, check in, do your workout, cool. If there was no personal connection, they're not going to transfer that over to the new next athlete. In my head, I'm already expecting my founding members to be like, oh, hey, welcome to the community, and just being, respectful and happy that these people are here and just wanting to genuinely help them out. And I see that with
how has it affected?
members.
How's it affected your your space here and your community at CrossFit 1904.
Oh, they love it. They're very inspired,
Mm-hmm.
very inspired. And yeah, they see that, you know, oh, man, if they could do it, like, what is my excuse?
Right,
you know?
right.
So they are very inspired by these athletes, and you know, some of our adaptive athletes, they've already come in and transferred to our CrossFit program, and they're doing very well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they love working out side by side. And that's another thing, is like, talking about the program, we had separate programs at one point.
Mm-hmm.
And again, this is learning as we go, is they wanted to be a part of the community.
Mm-hmm.
So we started just doing one program. So
Mm-hmm.
everyone's doing the same program, and they're all like, yeah, awesome. Like, we're doing the same amount of reps or getting the same amount of rounds as these guys. And they love that. They love seeing that. But it also, you know, we know what our adaptive program needs, and we know what our CrossFit program needs. So we need to make sure there is that line, right? Especially if we're testing and we're retesting, we got to make sure, you know, and it's hard with group classes, right? That's a group class feel, and we can always go individual, like Keith, you know, this is what we're going to do. Bill, this is what we're going to do. But they just love working out with each other, right? And not saying that they can't come to us and do some more personal training, because we definitely offer that with them too. Like, I'm doing stuff with Keith, and you know, and we talk about their goals. So it's, you know, talking about this program, it's a good base. It's a good base to get these adaptive athletes in, help them find the new normal for them, and then they can just fly with other things that they want to do, whether they want to race bikes, whether they want to go, you know, climb a mountain or something. You know, it's a good just base and community for them to have.
Absolutely. And that's something I actually really respect you for, and I've learned from you just in my own sort of new normal and figuring out my new normal, I guess, is that at first my thought was, I need to be segregated and I need to do my workouts alone and be alone in this journey that I'm on. Where actually that's probably one of the worst things a person can do for themselves. Yeah. Whereas, no, I just need to find what adaptations work for me and be included. There's this level of inclusion that I think all of the members feel here, whether adaptive, able-bodied or not. And I think that's a really awesome and positive thing for the members, besides, of course, becoming more fit.
Yeah.
All right. And reaching their fitness goals.
Yeah, reaching their fitness goals. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
So what does coaching and staffing look like for somebody who is starting an adaptive athletes program in their space?
Totally. So, okay. So you got to draw up the plan. First off is, how many days do you want this program to be? Okay. Do you want it 5 days, 3 days, 2 days, 1 day? Right. Coaching wise, I recommend one coach to no more than 5 adaptive athletes to start. Just because each individual is going to be so different. And once they get to know you and, you know, you get to know them, it'll be easier. But to start, yeah, I would go 1 coach to 5 athletes. And as your program grows, you can have those 2 coaches to 10 athletes or 2 coaches to 8 athletes. Where I recommend starting is, you know, obviously start with 1 day. Start with a day, start with free, you know, come to my free adaptive, you know, class. It's here on this day. And that's how you get people to know about your program. It's like, look, starting in, you know, the new year, we're going to start this new program that's going to be 3 days a week now. Awesome. And it's now going to be a paid program. So now we're going to pay, now there's a monthly payment. And you guys can change whatever you feel is necessary for your space or what you have. But as far as like a group class and kind of growing it that way, always start small. Start with the 1 and then grow to 3. It's always harder to have to take a class away. right?
Sure,
Like,
sure.
oh, we went too far, we went too much, and now no one's showing up to this, and now I have to take it away. So it's always better to start small, grow, thrive in that, and then build more, So yeah, and hopefully our program can be 5 days, 5 days a week. And right now I'm happy with 3 days, 3 days, 2 coaches. That's great. Yeah, that's how I would start the staffing. So I definitely recommend the 1 to 5. And again, this is all depending on your area, depending on what you are comfortable with. That number can change. But definitely, if you want that one-on-one feel, the less is more. So keep adding coaches, cap the class, make sure they're not too many people. Never want to turn anyone away.
Sure.
But for just the quality of the coaching. Safety. Yeah. Right. There's so much,
Yeah.
You were like sweating that one time putting the equipment away. It's like, it just worked out.
Yeah, right.
It's a lot of moving parts, rowers, weights, pull-up bars. There's so many things to set up. And that's the coaching part of it. Programming, we talk about programming a little bit.
Yeah. Tell me about programming.
So programming is, there's so many ways. There's so many ways. And, we are about the high intensity and functional movement or functional fitness, right? So if we think about it that way, then we're doing very similar things, or things like CrossFit, like squatting, pressing, pushing, pulling, right? And it's higher intensity versus low intensity. But again, this is up to you and what you feel your area, your program needs and wants. So for us, they love what we're doing now with our program, which is that functional fitness, functional movement at a high intensity, right? Now, can that change? Yeah. Can that change? Yes, for the program. We've played with strength cycles, let's learn how to let's bench press, let's squat, let's do that, because we don't have just wheelchair athletes, we have Q, and so programming, you have to just know your why, know what you want for that program, and then build cycles and do 4 weeks at a time, or build a whole year. But you also have to get feedback from your community. Also, testing is data. That's like so important.
Sure.
Data is super important. But that's super general with programming. But again, when it comes down to thinking about the movements, thinking about the transition of the athletes, like
if you're going to do an AMRAP for 6 minutes and it takes 2 minutes to transition from one movement to the other, it's a buzzkill.
So how do you and this is talking about like high intensity programming, but how do you make that not easier, but give them the same stimulus? So that comes with the experience and knowing what they can and can't do. If it's slower pace, like if we're doing bodybuilding, like that is no problem, right? We can go as slow as we want. We can move at a good pace, and that's some of the athletes need that. Not one program fits all, right? So but like I said, just start it. So we have a good base. We have this is a good start, and we test these things that we believe are good for movement and health and life, right? So that's the throw. Like we just did our assessment. We did our throw. We did our dips. We did our pulling. So if you have just those basic testing assessments, down, then the programming should be fairly easy. Like how to get them to improve that, right? And then you just make it fun for them.
Right. And I think as with any athlete, adaptive or able-bodied, testing and seeing progress builds motivation and self-efficacy.
Yes.
Yeah.
100% agree.
You talked about feedback from the athletes. What is some of the feedback that you've heard from adaptive athletes that you've applied to how you program, coach, train, etc.?
The most the feedback we get is we can do better as far as like the movement, right? So like, oh, let's try, instead of this, let's try this. Well, it's for Keith, but instead of box transfers, we can try hopping over or stepping over this plate. So feedback as far as movement, that's the most that we get, which is good because we want to learn what's good for each individual athlete and what we can and can't do with people. And then of course, like feedback with like, oh man, that was too hard, but hard that again is just so individualized. But you have to listen to the feedback, and you do want to give them what they want, but also you have to know what they, as individually, they all need. And with one program, again, that can help everyone. They're there, they're moving, they're doing something other than just sitting on the couch, not doing anything, right? So it's better than not doing anything. But just keep talking to your athletes, and if you have to go individualized, do it, help them out that way. But the class, again, it does help them just move and understand their movements.
What so what are you loving about this?
Oh man, I think it goes back to my why. What's right? Your why? So my why is to for the business, and I want to change lives through fitness. And whether that looks like, helping someone PR, do better at their Olympic weightlifting meet, qualify for nationals, or just help someone lose 5 pounds, and helping someone walk better, anything like that. If I just stick to my why there, anything I do, it'll be pretty easy to decide whether it's for me or not. And I think this challenges me. It challenges me to learn, and I love that. And that's the love part of it. Is like I just love it. It's just building these relationships with people. I think that's always been my thing. Starting from that nursing home, I just love working with people, and seeing their progress and seeing them change in positive ways. So that's my why. It's and that could, I'm still looking for those words, like I said, like just really dialing it in, because it'll make my decisions that I make for the business, for my life, for my fitness, it'll make decisions so much easier when I can just stick to those things. Like if I'm always thinking, like having meetings in my own head, like, oh, should I do this? Should I not? If I can always go back to those things, it's like, it's so easy to just say, yeah, that's not part of what I want to do. No, I'm not going to do that. So
I like that, having meetings in my own
head. As a business owner, if I'm talking to myself in the corner, I'm just having a meeting. So meeting with myself. But yeah, it's that's what I would, if you're trying to start a program, and or start a fitness facility, just know those things. Try to find, it's not going to be right away. You're not going to find that right away, but through the trials and errors and experience, you're gonna be able to know what it is. And through 7 years of owning a business like this, like I didn't go to formal training for it. The experience and just I think that work ethic that I got from that other job helped me to really just hone everything in and just try to do what I love. So
I have to say, I see it here, because I see you doing everything from like spending 30 minutes to cleaning your floors, fixing electrical issues, making sure that every J cup is put together so neatly and organized. I don't see that in a lot of other gym spaces. But it makes sense with your background and your ethic.
We try to do that, and I can't wear all the hats all the time. There's things that I don't want to do. There's things I don't want to do, and then things that I'm not good at. So that's where I ask for help. And that's okay to ask. You have to ask for help, because if you don't ask, you're not going to get help. So just ask for help. And if you, find someone or find, someone who wants to do that you're not good at, and it'll work out. And that's why I love my business partner, King, and we were very opposite, but it works out. Idea man, I'm the guy that's going to put it on the floor, so it works out beautifully. So,
So something we like to ask as we're wrapping up the podcast to anybody out there who is an adaptive athlete and is looking to find their space, their tribe, their social support, what would you recommend to them and how to go about doing that?
Yeah, so if you are looking for that, there's the internet. We're in the internet age. You can Google any programs for wheelchair athletes, programs for I'm missing an arm or something. But I would again reach out to your community. Facebook is a good resource, just online, anything online. But we can talk about ours. I mean, you just go to, just reach out to anyone that, that has, again, just talk to people, just find some resources. But if you are looking for help, there are a lot of resources out there. CAF, Challenge Athlete Foundation, really good. I would definitely start with them. Just find a tribe, find a community. That's, I mean, it's hard to say how, but I think, how do we all do anything, right? It's just talking to people and just don't be scared. Don't be scared to reach out, because someone will help you. Someone will be out there to help. So there's always someone.
That's a really good point. I think that the fear and the anxiety in people's heads is if I show up and I fail, everyone's just going to laugh at me or tease me, when it's quite the opposite. You're actually going to find more people that want to help support you.
And it's not easy. Like I said, it's not easy to just go find help. It's not that easy, right? But there's a lot of resources out there. Like I said, start with CAF and us, CrossFit 1904 or the Adaptive Strength and Conditioning Program. We're here to help. So.
Yeah, there are programs like the veterans grant that we're doing here. But I think a good point too that I was talking to somebody else about who's an adaptive athlete is it's even if you're not a veteran and you didn't necessarily get injured in war, you can still find tribe, and it's for everybody.
It's for everybody. Not just your veteran. If you just got newly injured, Nick, you need to find something to do. Like, what do you do? And we can be that tribe for someone. So reach out.
Right. And so your RX fix for just bringing it back to any gym that's looking to start an adaptive athlete program. I heard consistency, having a space, starting with one class a week. Moving to more, having it at the same time too.
Yes,
that's been a big one too, right?
Yes. Right. Just so it doesn't mix. You're like, when is the class again?
You talked about the staffing,
one coach to about 4 or 5. Again, just depending on your comfort, how comfortable you are with your athletes, and just show that you care, and they will believe and trust you, and they will love the program. If you just find that you don't care for it, then just stop. Don't do it. Because you're not helping anyone at that point anymore.
Right. They can tell if you care or not. Well, thank you for caring for the athletes, for your coaches, for your interns. You work your butt off, Ray. And I think it shows in the success of this program.
Thank you.
So if anyone is interested if you're in the San Diego area and you're interested in CrossFit 1904 and Movement RX's Adaptive Athlete Strength and Conditioning Program, how can they reach out to you?
You can reach us at CrossFit1904.com, or you can email us at info@CrossFit1904.com.
And if you're a veteran and you're interested in the Veterans Grant Program that we have, you can email Movement RX at getbetter@movement-rx.com, and get more information from that resource as well. And we're out here. We're waiting for you. Come through and do it. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in and listening or watching the podcast with us. Remember, if you're looking to get a free health assessment, if you're an adaptive athlete, it's not free, I'm sorry. If you're looking to get a health assessment and reach out, you can reach out to all of the different sources and come find us. You have your coupon codes, My New Normal 40 for Highlight, if you're interested in Highlight. And then for Let's See Arc Smart Gear, you can use the code NHLBRX. Come see us at CrossFit 1904 at Movement RX and tune in for the next episode. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ray.
Yay, that was so good. Oh.